Okay, pointing the camera this way so I can hold it to my mouth and it sound a little bit better than normal. So yeah, today's one of those really, I guess, shit days. To be honest, these days I'm having more bad days than good days. And I don't know, I feel like I'm coming full circle with that relationship. It's beginning to annoy me again, and it's annoying me more because of how much time has passed, if that makes sense. It's annoying me now because I'm like, hey, listen, bro, it's been 7 months. You know it was bad. You know you didn't have a good time. That's why you left. Like, come on. But, you know, when someone pushes you away, it's never a nice feeling. And yeah, you start to think, oh, I should have done X, Y, Z. I should have done blah, blah, blah. You know, walking up this long path, you know, trying to, I don't know, get some fresh air, take my mind off stuff. It can feel like a lot sometimes. Maybe you understand that, maybe you don't. I think the best thing I've been trying to do, I've been super bitten whilst I've walked this path. And the best thing I've been trying to do is pretty much just accept that, how do I word this? I accept that things happened the way they happened, and that is the story. There doesn't need to be a greater meaning behind everything. You know, like, it is what it is, as the famous phrase goes. And I've been trying to just, regardless of how I feel, do something for myself each day. I suppose I'm in a fortunate position that I have a lot of free time, so I try to make use of that rather than dwell on it now and beat myself up for it. I try to think, okay, these things do exist. These situations have happened. What we're going to do about it? And I think that sounds like an obvious thing. That doesn't sound like very, smart or clever. But I don't know how to thoroughly, correctly put it into words, but the art of sort of accepting things have happened has helped me a lot, especially with anxiety and things like that. I am going to turn around, or I don't actually think I'll make it back, because I've already done 3 miles and I've way overcooked it, and I don't know if you can see up there, but that looks like I'm about to get drenched. So I'm going to head back because I've got no coat. So these videos, these talks, I know they go on my YouTube channel and 99% of people don't care. But, you know, I have to do the thing that helps me. And I think that's important. Guys can appreciate that or understand it or not, it's fine. But for the longest time, I've just not cared for myself. And I guess it shows. And so, part of the acceptance and part of the, I guess, new mantra is, like I explained in the other video, I don't like deluding myself and pretending things are better than they are. That doesn't help my process. Like, if somebody says, oh, look, you're walking up this dead long road, and I say, yeah, it's really long. If somebody tells me, hey, bro, it's not that long, like, that doesn't help me. Whereas, actually, I need some tools to help. Like, okay, it is long. How are we going to deal with this? So, the way I've been approaching things and the way I've been trying to, like, compartmentalize stuff is, okay, you really did have a awful on-off push-pull relationship, and you were the bigger man, even though it was what you wanted, and even though it was what you desired more than anything. You stood up for yourself and you said, hey, I feel like a piece of shit, bro. Are you gonna do anything about this? Do you even care? Like, what is even going on? Because this is ridiculous. And the answer I got was basically, hey bro, bye. And okay, that's what happened. Like, I don't really regret it, I'll be honest. Like, the end outcome sucks. But I don't regret finally growing a backbone and, you know, explaining myself. Like, I've seen pictures of her recently, her out and about, her doing stuff, looking like she's living her best life, and I think, okay, that sucks, like, she's not bothered at all. But I know she wasn't bothered. Like, she wasn't bothered during the relationship, so in a way, why should she be bothered when she's not in it? In fact, she should be way less bothered. So, okay, we move on, you know? It's a shitty thing, but, you know, that's that. You know, what other option do I have? I'm certainly not gonna spend my life chasing, you know, someone. It's just not gonna happen. Like, it's too tiring. So, there was somebody that was talking about, oh yeah, I feel dead alone. I feel super alone. And when I go out and I do a walk or I go climbing, he was like someone that goes camping, I suppose, like overnight at some nice locations. He said it's nice, but sometimes you do feel lonely. And all the comments were like, don't feel lonely, bro. Don't feel lonely, bro. You know, you're not. You're at one with nature. It's lovely. And some guy just said, well, yeah, you are alone. Like, we're not going to pretend that you're not alone, but, well, what else are you going to do? Does that make sense? Like, what else are you going to do? Like, are you going to not go on the trip because you're alone? Well, even if you didn't go on the trip, you're still going to be alone. So you may as well do something nice for yourself. And so today, when I'm having these days where I think, God, this is tough. Like, just existing is just shit. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not a fake YouTuber. I'm not like that, you know. I'm not going to pretend that I find shit easy. But the acceptance is helping. Far, far better than deluding myself. Like, meaning, okay, I get dead anxious. Okay, I really do overthink things. Okay, I panic about, like, new situations. I'm thinking, like, let those feelings be there. They are gonna be there. Let them be there. Okay, you're anxious, now what? You know what I mean? Or like today, it was a hot day. Every single person in my family, because there was a few people in my family, were like, what are you doing going for a walk? It's boiling hot. You know, I've got my water attached here. Getting the gear now, it's making things easier. And I'm like, well, I didn't say this. I just said, oh, I just fancy it, you know. In fact, I didn't fancy it at all. In fact, I think it's the last thing I wanted to do, right? The absolute last thing I wanted to do was drive my car fucking miles, get to this spot, walk up this frigging depressing, lonely road where there's literally nobody, get attacked by flies, have hay fever, probably get drenched, and having not eaten all day, probably feel really rubbish afterwards. But I said to myself, well, I feel like shit anyway. Obviously, I didn't say these things out loud, but internally, I'm like, I feel like shit anyway. So, if I sit in my room, or if I go and drive myself to McDonald's, or if I, you know, fucking whatever, yeah, if I do whatever, then I've lost my train of thought there because my dad just texted me. One moment. Okay, carrying on the rambles here. Just phoned me dad, so sorted that out. Yeah, I was just talking about, like, acceptance, and letting it bin there and feeling it and whatever, and just trying to do something decent for yourself. It's very difficult, like, just because I've never done it before, so obviously it's very tough. Some people get that, some people don't. Some people just see, oh, it's a guy, he's doing some walks, get over it, bro. But honestly, like, trying to make yourself do something you don't want to do for like long-term gain is difficult, especially when you don't know if it's possible. I think that's like the thing I'm struggling with, you know. I'd obviously like to get a bit better in shape, lose some weight, but I do have like some medical issues which kind of hinder that, and I've never done it before, so it's not like I can point to anything and say, oh, I've been there before, I'll do it again. No one in my life is like sounds bad, but no one in my life is like a healthy gym going person, you know. I'm certainly not, and I don't mean that in any negative way. We're just normal, you know, not, you know, no one's obese or anything like that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't class myself as obese, I suppose, like, you know, although probably legally or whatever you call it, I am. But it's pointing to that unknown and saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. I've always struggled with that, like, even in my private life, like had the best grades in school, very difficult, first person to go to college, and then I got like the top grades in college, and then, yeah, I don't know, it's just been difficult. Just letting a biker go there. And I think the strange thing is, mate, like, you know, the really, really strange thing is because I was like an overachiever and I was always told, wow, top grades, wow, da-da-da. Like, literally nothing I ever do is ever registered on the dopamine scale. Like, I don't know, like nothing. And I know that sounds like, oh, boo-hoo, but genuinely, because my entire life, up until I was basically 20, I was very good at everything I did. Even gaming. Like, literally, I was very good at the game I played. Like, everything, like, has always been, yeah, but you could do better, bro. So it's never registered on, like, the dopamine factor, and as a result I've ended up doing nothing and then having very low dopamine, which I'm not blaming anybody, it's my own fucking fault. Like, I don't hold any grudges or anything like that, it's my own stupid fault. But what I'm trying to say is, like, for example, like, even my driving, I had driving anxiety, and I still do. I haven't been on any fast roads, I haven't been on the motorway, I haven't been on any big journeys, I've just been on the few small journeys around my area that I'm getting comfortable with, right? And it's like, I passed my driving test first time with no faults. I didn't tell my parents I was learning to drive, like, because I couldn't handle the feeling of them knowing I was learning something and not being instantaneously good at it. So I would say, all right, I'm going for a walk. And then I would go and walk. I would get picked up by my driving instructor. I would do my driving lesson, park somewhere else and walk home. And I kept that up for quite a while until I was like, you know, it's a bit awkward just doing this, so I better tell them. So I told them, and starting to rain now, told you, glad I called it, glad I turned back. And then when I was taking my test, I didn't even tell them I was near to my test, and he didn't tell me I was ready for my test. I was like, listen, this is the correct amount of time, and if I haven't got good enough to pass my test by this amount of time, then I'm naturally not good at driving, so we're just going to call it quits. And so I booked my test, didn't tell anybody, passed first time. I came back in and I said, yeah, I passed my driving test. They were like, what? I was like, yeah. And I didn't feel any emotion. I think it's meant to be like an exciting day, passing your driving test. But like, all I could feel was, oh, well, now I need to be really good. Like, now I need to be one of the best drivers on the road. And because I knew I couldn't do that, I didn't even want to drive. Because there was a potential of an accident. There was a potential that I misjudge a situation. There was a potential that someone misjudges me. And I just didn't like that. Like, I'm highly, highly, highly competitive. I'm highly perfectionist. Like, and it's literally stopped me doing everything. So when I go on this walk, I could look back now and I could say, in December, I could barely walk half a mile without covered in sweat. And now I'm walking 4 miles every day and I'm managing it. Huge achievement, I think. But I see people walking faster than me on the path. I see people running faster than me. I see people running. I see people looking healthier, skinny. And I'm like, yep, you're a pile of shit. Just go home. Why are you even bothering doing this? Well, that's just how my brain works. It could be, like, I could cope and I could say, well, okay, this woman, she runs this 4 mile trek and I walk it because I can't run it. But maybe she only runs it once a week and I walk it every day, so that's a good job, you know? I just don't feel like that. I just have no dopamine in me. I'm not a very excitable person. When I play video games, I'm like, okay, won that game, didn't play perfectly. Okay, got to play the next one more perfect. Like, it's tiring, and I'm trying to knock that on its head. And I'm trying to just embrace, like, yo, you do have these problems and you need to work on them. So, you know, that's what I'm doing. I don't know if it will work, how long I'll keep it up. I honestly don't know. Maybe it's just a summer thing and it helps me get through summer. If so, then I'll just say, well, I had a good summer. I did some exercise, I worked on myself. I didn't freaking throw myself under a bridge, you know. I didn't let that girl defeat me. I managed to crank out some streams and some videos and help some people, and, you know, maybe I did some good somewhere in the world. I don't know. But it's very difficult because I have a brain where I feel like if the thing I am doing is not going to impact someone positively or like make me memorable for helping or doing or, you know, something like that, like leaving your mark on the world, then I feel like it's pointless. So like that's why I struggle with like mundane work, because I'm like, this just doesn't impact anybody. And then they're like, yeah, but it'll make you feel good, or, you know, do things for you. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't care about myself. I'm trying to, but that's like a big mental problem. So I don't know, guys, having a bit of a rough one. Let's hope for a brighter next week, yeah? Alright, stay positive, guys. Keep in touch. Much love.